Full house. The failed Netflix show decided that I wanted to continue. I'm kidding. A friend of Dan's was coming to visit. Oh. Are we gonna have to find out about what his wants are too? Alright, so first things first. Let's check seeing. What's this? Guy. Probably not expecting to hear from me, were you? Now, you know, I'm all about surprises. Look, we're gonna head up coast next weekend. We're doing a drive from LA to Seattle, and I have a hit interview up there on Tuesday. And Kelly has a friend who's gonna introduce her to some casting people from Vancouver. Can we crash at your place on the way up? We should probably be pulling through next Friday. I was thinking we could use it as an excuse to jam in our books. Any authors out there, do you actually do that? I'm just curious. I'm way beyond knowing what's good or not with my... I want to see your new stuff, and I have a draft I want you to take a look at. I'm way beyond knowing what's good or not with my work, so I could really use your advice. You know, I'll give it to you straight. Your new book, is there a title yet? Could be an impromptu writer's workshop, I guess. Anyway, think about it. Let me know. T. So, Dan's probably got an old writing buddy from college probably coming to visit him. I gave him such a dude bro voice. I know, it doesn't sound like it because I can't do voices very well. Davey can bring over his jet. Oh, I already saw that. Yeah. And Linda, I bet, is like, I don't want him to come over. I talked to Davey's parents, they're okay with him sleeping over. They said they'd take care of Tommy some weekend in return. I know the timing isn't great, but maybe we can work something out. Let's talk when you get up, Lynn.
Good news. Mom called today with a change of plans. They made better time on the first leg of the trip than they expected, and they're coming to visit.
Oh God,
Bad
why the
news,
fuck does
they're not
everybody
coming
want to
this
come?
weekend. Did Dan tell Tynan they could stay here for sure, or is that still up in the air? I'll ask after dinner. She sounded cheerful enough on the phone, though I can't help wondering if they took this trip because they hit another rough patch. I hope not. I hope they just want to see Tommy and have a classic Mears family feast. Though, maybe seeing how they've ended up will be good perspective for Dan and me. Speaking of which, Dad better not get nosy. I've told him 1,000,000 times that my marriage is not his business. Maybe I'll try the thing Christine told me. When someone asks you something private, just say, "Why do you ask?" Put it back on them and see if they've actually got a reason.
I'm not hiding anything.
Business.
What?
Yeah, I've got to remember to try that. We'll see how he answers that one.
God damn it. Didn't want to bother you while you were working, but didn't want you to forget again. Been meaning to ask, have you found any ponds on your hikes, creeks? No rush, just curious.
How's it going? You know.
Alright, he's out of the writer's workshop, so...
I took Tynan up on the book jam. He hasn't seen a word of my new book, and fresh eyes are priceless. He bailed me out on Tramer's Way. I hope he understands how much of that book worked because of him. I still remember when we were walking to the pond, and he had the idea about using newspaper clips and police reports. Of course, no matter how many times I tell interviewers it was his idea, they just keep giving me the credit.
Well, at least he's not like one of those writers who's like, yep, all me, no help at all.
That.
All came from
Let's
my
just hope
noodle.
He has an idea for this one, too. Freddie can't get here soon enough.
So now we gotta figure out who's coming to visit, who's coming to stay, who's going to be left in the dust. Check sofa, call Chamber of Commerce, hotels in town, double check, talk trip when Dan gets back. Oh shit.
It's back, right there. It moved.
Oh fuck. Fuck.
Saw it, right?
Don't hide.
It's right there.
Well, I was always curious what it was like when somebody, didn't
I almost had it.
Didn't go through Tommy's spot if you, but now he's become suspicious. If he spots you again, he'll become spooked and you won't be able to find a compromise. Oh, okay. Phew, so they give you one warning shot.
That was definitely something.
I'm really curious.
Hey, honey, what you doing?
Blasting
What?
off.
Alright, I gotta get out of here. Search house memory. Oh. Honey, I'm sorry it's been so long since my last letter, but we've all been all over the place. Have you gotten settled in that big house yet? I hope getting away from everything has been a help for you and Dan. I'm writing because, speaking of getting away, your father and I are going on a road trip. I took some old some good AARP deals, and with your father only working part-time, it wasn't very hard to arrange time off. It's been too long since our last trip. I've always enjoyed our changes of scenery, and as you're hopefully learning, it can be just the thing a marriage needs. Lord knows it's helped us all. The trip won't take us close enough to the shore to come visit. I'm sorry to say, if you write back to me, we'll be gone before your letter arrives. We'll call you if one of our motels has long distance. But if we don't get a chance to call, send my love to Dan and Thomas. You know your father and I want the best for you and all, Mom. Great. Alright, let's go into the memories. Too bad I can't do like Hitman vision and I can see like where they all are in regards to like, you know, space and oh, there he is. Hey Dan, I'm gonna enter your head for a minute.
What about Tommy?
You can sleep with us. Did it. Got it to Paul on Monday and just about dropped on the spot. Barely slept Sunday night, but damn it, I got it in. Abject terror is a pretty strong motivator. Linda understood.
He's going to murder me.
She had her own deadline, so at least she could identify, but in the end it was still a choice, and she didn't let me off the hook. Can't blame her, really. Sometimes you just have to make tough calls. That's why they're called tough calls.
This is kind of this really is exactly like real life, because sometimes you do just get through portions in your life where just
What is that?
Son of a bitch. Check those fishing poles. Maybe we could find a pond. Okay, well, this just put a huge crimp in the plan. Because now I can't give Dan either partial credit or whatever. God, why do they all have to turn around at this point? Because if they all get spooked, crap. There's no goddamn way I'm gonna get through this alive.
Just got back from the show, if you can even call it that. I didn't sell a single piece, which isn't a surprise given the turnout. I know Dan had other things on his mind, but I told him how important it was to me. It was such a good opportunity to figure out what I want to do when we get back home, too.
Especially when this
But
is
I
like
can't
they're
make up
all
my
a
mind
family of
based on
artists.
such a
Everything
half-hearted
is like
decision.
crucial.
Was that Dan's way of telling me he's not ready for me to go back? I don't want to read too much into it, at least not so soon, but it's really hard not to.
I thought Tommy was sleeping with us.
I'm checking to see if this is a fold-out.
I really gotta figure out how to use the flicker the flicker option more usefully. Yep, that first night, I bet, if anything, that first night, you could probably have, like, especially compromised your way through something so it wouldn't have affected you too much, but especially now that I've just figured out what the compromise option is.
Can Davy sleep over?
Let me call his mommy.
Could use the blue sheets to make a sofa fort. Great, and I bet if Davy doesn't come over, then he's gonna turn into Tommy's bully. Because Davy's a jerk like that. And he'd totally do it just to spite me. Oh, that's not where she is. So, wasn't that? Where's that ugly? Watch that ugly sweater so they can see him. Oh, yeah, I can see you wearing it. Okay, so first things first. I'm gonna give Dan the outcome he wants. Just because I totally fucked this up, and I should have instead just had it the opposite way. But then, well, I'll have to find that ugly sweater for Linda, so that way at least her family can come. And Tommy's gonna have to be disappointed yet again, because goddamn, this game hates me. Diary, Claire Bradford, September 7th, 1961. I realize now that this isn't about Roger, it's about me. I have to decide who I want to be marrying. Roger will set so many things in motion. We'll be a well-to-do couple, safe and secure, with wonderful friends and loving families. I may slowly fade into being Roger's wife instead of Claire, and that will be the society's doing, not Roger's. He loves me too much to do that. But what about music? If I am accepted at Berkeley, I don't know what we'll do. I can't ask him to quit his job for another month after he starts. What kind of a couple lives in separate cities as soon as they get married? The decision can't be this black and white, can it? Position and safety versus crazy pursuit alone. Is there any way at all? Is there a way to have it all? Do I even want it all? Will I ruin everything if I matter whatever I choose? I've given up trying to read things. Diary of Claire Bradford, September 8th, 1961. Roger and I talked everything over today, and it was a mistake to speak so soon. I never should have brought any of this up without making up my mind first. Now I've only made things more difficult. I guess that I was daydreaming, and he asked me what was on my mind before I could help it, and it just all came out. Although I wanted to get it off my chest, I told him I wasn't sure about the right time to get married, and it upset him badly. It didn't matter how many times I told him that I wasn't calling it off, that I just had questions, that I hadn't made up my mind either way. All he heard was that I didn't love him anymore, which isn't true at all, but it didn't matter how many times I said that either. He's gone off for a drive, and now I'm here in the house alone, and I think I've made up my mind. I hope he gets back soon and I can tell him. Who is this that they're talking about? Forget you ever saw me. Dan was too excited about getting Tyron's feedback to cancel a visit. He found that fishing poles were in great shape, and he and his friend hit it off like they'd seen each other yesterday. Linda told them where they could find a small pond in their woods, and they paid only in fresh fish with dinner, with new ideas for their books as well. Okay, good. Now Dan should be secure, so I can totally ignore him for the next one. Linda was glad they were able to make room for everyone, but with so much going on in the house, she didn't get as much time as she would have liked to visit her parents. They were glad to come at all, though. Linda didn't get a chance to pull her mother aside to see how her parents were doing. My question is why? Like, Dan went off with his own buddy, so it's like, didn't they have enough time to talk to each other? Tommy cried when Dad told him that Davy wouldn't be able to sleep over, and the fact that the extra seats were used for the grown-up house guests instead of a sofa for it upset him only more. He didn't want to sleep in his parents. In the middle of the night, he woke up and tried to get back into his room, causing an embarrassing scene. I guess we won't ever see what their grandparents look like, because if you look closely there, you can't actually see what their bed is.